Okay. Now we'll go ahead and get started. So if you guys don't already know who I am, I'm Madeline. I'm the current district governor for the Capital District. Soon will be immediate past district governor, which I'm super sad about, but I got to work with a ton of club presidents and vice presidents over this past year. So I'm super excited to conduct this training with you guys and let you guys know some things that'll help you for your upcoming term as president or VP. Sweet, so just a overview of what I'm going to be covering today, because there's a lot of aspects to the role, especially I know we have some returning presidents or returning VPs, and a lot of you guys are returning officers. There's a lot to every position, but especially the president's position, you guys take on and vice president, you guys take on a very, very special role in your club, leading a lot of the projects and also just sort of setting the culture for your club and what you want it to look like. So I'm going to cover as much as I can today, but obviously this is not all encompassing of the entire role. We're going to start out with an icebreaker and just get to know each other a little bit. As presidents and VPs from different clubs, you guys are hopefully going to be working together over this next year. So getting to know each other is going to be super, super helpful with your term. We're going to cover some general club responsibilities as far as like setting goals for your club, how to lead effective club meetings and officer meetings, and like how to be effective in communication and how to keep in touch with the people you need to be successful in your role. Then we're going to move into some general district responsibilities. So as president of your club, you know, you kind of serve as the main representative, the main go-to person. If anybody from the district board or like international needs something, they're going to reach out to you as the president. So just making sure that you're aware of your responsibilities to keep in communication with the district and international with reporting, dues, meetings, those type of things. We'll cover those. And then the last thing is just sort of general skills. What are good things to know and have in your tool belt as a president? So board management is a really big one. Like I was talking about, you sort of set the culture for your club. So building a culture, communicating effectively, and then also just taking care of yourself. Because like I said, it's a lot. I get it. And it's not going to be perfect, and that is completely okay. So we'll talk about how to do that as well. So jumping right into the icebreaker to get to know each other. How many people do we have in here right now? Okay, not too bad. So we're gonna go around and have everybody just say your name real quick, your club, whether you're gonna be a president or a vice president this upcoming service year. One sentence on sort of like why you decided to run for the position or why you want to serve in this role. And then just like one fun fact about yourself. So we can just go in the order, make it easy of how you guys are listed on my screen. Liz, you're up first, if you don't mind going first.
I don't mind at all. I'm Liz Brown. I am with Randolph-Macon College's CKI. I was elected the president of my club, and I decided to run for this position because I just really love what CKI stands for. And I know that this year was like really tough for a lot of people, and you know, next year there's going to be a lot of people who are looking for a club to join that's like actually in person, so I want to be a part of that. And one fun fact about me, I own 3 peacocks.
That's so cool. Sweet. How did you acquire 3 peacocks, if you don't mind me asking real quick?
So my mom is like a home health nurse, so she goes around to a lot of different houses to, you know, do her job. And one of them had peacocks, and like they loved my mom. They were like, wow, she's the best nurse, and they had a bunch of peacocks, so they gave her a male and a female, and then we have a baby one now. So yeah, that's how I got them.
Oh my gosh, wow, that's amazing. Sweet. Yeah, the next person is gonna have quite a task to, here, wait, let me stop sharing for a sec so we could see each other. Quite a task to top that fun fact. Okay, next is Margaret, and I can drop the things that you need to include in your little introduction in here too. So in the chat.
Okay, I'll start and then can look at the list if I miss one. So hi guys, I'm Margaret. I am the incoming president of William and Mary's CKI. I decided to run for this role because, like Liz, I love CKI and it's been a really important part of my college experience over these last 3 years. And so in this last year, excited to put energy into this leadership role. And then a fun fact, I guess we'll stay with in the animal theme. One of my numbers when we did that exercise in the intro session was I have 14 flamingo related items in my dorm room because I love flamingos, and then people have just latched on to this theme, and so they keep giving me flamingos. So I know this number because I gave my housemates a flamingo tour a few weeks ago, which was fun.
Awesome. Super into flamingos. Love it. What a great animal. Sweet. Okay, next up we have Carson.
Hi, I'm Carson. I'm the president of the American University CKI. I ran for this position again this year because I really enjoyed this past year, and I wanted to see what it would look like in person, like I intended for it to be last year. So I'm super excited for this upcoming year, hopefully, when we get to be in person. Fun fact about me is my house is on top of a cave, which is kind of scary, but we haven't had a sinkhole yet. So, yeah.
I don't think I knew that about you, so that's crazy that your house is on a cave. Do you ever go cave explore? Can you like go into it or like?
Yeah, the entrance to the cave is like in this park down the street. You used to be able to go, you can't go very far into it. You used to be able to go in all the time, but then the bats got like white-nosed disease, so they closed down the caves for a little bit.
Makes sense, makes sense. Thank you, Carson. Next we have Emily.
Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry. I'm out, so it's a little bit loud. But my name's Emily. I am the Vice President of Service for CKI. And I chose to run for my position because I was secretary last year and I just wanted to be more involved this year. And then a fun fact about me is that I have 2 dogs.
Awesome. Yeah, we love our animals. Sweet. 2 dogs is cool. Awesome. Thank you, Emily. Next we have Gabby.
Hey, so my name is Gabby. I'm going to be president again this year or this coming year for Virginia Tech CKI. I re-ran for this position, like similar to Carson, because I kind of came in expecting like a full experience, and we didn't really get that as far as like in-person stuff goes. But also, I feel like I just want to give more to my club and help them kind of succeed more than I did this year. I don't know if that makes sense. But my fun fact, I was trying to think of one that was different. So this isn't really my fun fact. It's more like my sister's fun fact right now, but I feel like I want to like brag about it. She's currently in Antarctica, which I think is like the coolest thing ever, and is like studying and doing like sciencey things over there. So it's not mine, but still cool.
Antarctica is definitely a cool place to be for sure. I bet you there's not too much COVID there, which is my guess. But
yeah, so she was actually there, like she went like for her first like deployment in February before COVID happened. So like they didn't have to wear masks for like forever until like September when people started coming back in. So like they were in a COVID-free world for a long time during our spike.
So interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Sweet. Okay. Thank you, Gabby. Next we have Kemi.
Hi, so my name is Kemi. I go to George Washington University and I am the incoming president at George Washington University. hold on, let me look at the prompts. Why did I run for my position? So basically, this past year I had the opportunity to manage and organize a Black Lives Matter discussion and fundraiser. And I really enjoyed stepping into that leadership role and having the opportunity to be more creative. So I would, like to do that moving forward. And also I love Circle K. And then another thing is that I have a lot of ideas for how I want our club to look this upcoming year. And my fun fact would be that I play volleyball, and I was also able to meet the national team for the US, and then also the Olympic gold medal coach. So that was cool.
That's incredible. What a cool experience. Wow. I'm trying to think if I don't think I've ever met any Olympians, so that's pretty awesome. Sweet. And last but not least, thank you, Kemi. We have Lily.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lily. I attend American University, and I'm going to be the incoming vice president for Circle K. I ran for this position because I'm very passionate about service and hope to plan some service initiatives in person in the fall. And then a fun fact about me is that I have two brothers that I'm very close to.
Glad you're close to your siblings. That's good. I'm close to mine most of the time, but normal sibling rivalry and debates. Sweet. Awesome. Well, hopefully you guys got to know each other a little bit better. I do have some interactive parts to this presentation, so hopefully having that icebreaker in the beginning, you guys will participate a little bit. But yeah, sweet. So it was cool to hear all the fun facts. Awesome. So getting right into it with general club responsibilities. So the first thing is goal setting. So goal setting is going to be huge, especially as you start your year, and especially too as we're kind of going into this weird time where things are kind of hybrid. Probably some things will be virtual, some things will be in person. Sort of setting up what you want your club to look like to the best of your ability ahead of time will help you prepare for events that go awry, and setting up a plan for both virtual and both in person, depending on what's happening, and being ready for either case scenario. So some steps for like goal setting is to draw on experience from previous years. So the first thing is what your experience was like as a club member and officer. As a president, I'm guessing you guys didn't just join CKI this year. You've been a member for at least a year, or you've held a previous office. So drawing from, what experiences did you have as a member or officer? What would have made that experience better? Or what did you really, really like that kept you involved with the club? And that'll sort of help you put towards what you want it to look like this upcoming year. The other thing is looking at previous data. So for example, something that's really helpful is looking at your club's membership over the past couple years. And if you don't have this data accessible, one thing you can do is reach out to the district. So you can reach out to my email, which is governor@cdcki.org, or any board member, and we'll help connect you to that data. We have data on your previous membership experience. You can also look at your clubs should have been submitting monthly report forms every month over this past year and years previous. Look back at those monthly report forms and see how many service hours you're completing each month, that type of thing, so that you can set realistic goals, like month by month. Where should I be at? Where should our club be at as far as hitting service hours? Or where should our club be at? Like how many club meetings should we have had by this point? That type of thing. The second thing is to talk to your board, right? So you have a whole board of officers behind you to help you. They probably have great ideas for goals and things that they want to see in their club. And the more that you talk to your board and involve your board in the goal setting process for your year, the more likely they're going to be engaged in helping you set the club up for success in that. If they have a goal that they're really passionate about, like on your goal sheet, they're going to be there at the officer meetings, at those type of things to help make sure the club reaches those. So definitely make sure you're involving your board. Write down your goals. So don't just talk about them and then, you talk about them April 1st and then you don't talk about them again until the very end of the year. Have something written down that you guys can look back and refer to. And the other thing is to have action steps in that. So not just writing down your goals, but I didn't put it in here. I'm guessing all of you guys know what SMART goals are, because I've heard it a million times, so I didn't want to repeat the whole thing. But if you don't know, I'm going to mess up exactly what SMART stands for, but make sure that they're specific and measurable, that there's like a timeline for where you want to achieve things. So like I said, setting like, after 1 month, where should we be at? After halfway through the year, where should we be at? So setting up not just the goal, but the steps under that for how you're going to achieve that is super, super important. And making sure that each board member has a copy so they can't say, oh, I didn't know that was like a goal. I didn't know that we were supposed to be doing that. Everybody's on the same page if everybody has a copy. And then also, like, if you sometimes have trouble, achieving more long-term goals, send copies of your goals to your lieutenant governor or to the district governor. Let the district help to hold you guys accountable in achieving those goals. And if you're not reaching them, we're here to help you. It's not like a bad thing if you don't reach a goal. It just means, how can we revise this so we can get better and get even closer towards reaching those goals. Fourth thing, check-in points. So like I said, set a board meeting for a quarter of the way through the year to see where you're at in achieving those goals. Halfway through the year, where are you at? So that by the end of the year, it's not a big surprise whether or not you reach the goal that you set. And last but not least, a good thing as a president, especially, or vice president, to do is reflect on your goals at the end of the year. So leaving recommendations, and you guys might have received this from your predecessor as well, recommendations for new goals for the club, or recommendations on how to revise goals that you had previously in your club in the past that might have not worked out so well, so that they can work out better this year. And then pass that on to the next president and vice president. So it sets them up for things right off the bat. What should we work towards? How can we set our club up for success this upcoming year? That being said, let's kind of practice this for a sec. So I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes, and let's practice writing down one goal that you want to achieve in your club this upcoming year, and maybe like 2 or 3 like action steps you're going to work towards to help get towards that goal. So 2 minutes starting now. So 22 after the hour, we'll come back and share some of those. Okay, I know that was like a lightning round goal planning session, individual goal. But does anybody want to share one thing that they want to work towards in their club this year and some steps that they're planning on taking?
I can go.
Go for it.
So this year we ended up doing focus areas for each month. So we would focus on a specific, for example, social justice issue. And then we would have a guest speaker at the end of the month, and maybe do like a fundraiser. But this year I would like to, I know it's kind of broad, but expand into different social justice issues, and focus also more on like racial injustice as well. And then another thing is I think it would be a good idea to align the months for what we focus on with like things that are nationally I guess like the national months for like certain things. Like for example, this month is Women's Month, but we ended up focusing on homelessness. So I think we can kind of align it so that we're focusing on Women's Month for our specific club, and that we're doing service projects that correlate throughout the month to that focus area, and in addition to like regular service events.
Awesome, that sounds great. And as a member of the George Washington University Club, I'm super excited for that. Sweet, thank you, Kemi. Can we get one more?
I have one. It's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, just with everything online. But I wanted to, this was a goal last year too, increase our social media presence, because right now, I mean, if you all want to follow it, it's au.circlek, but our thing looks a lot just like announcements, and I want it to be more highlighting our members. So ideas I had were like have a service spotlight each month. So if members are doing service on their own times, highlight what they're doing and what organizations they're working with. Create a link tree, I think is really important. Post in like the AU class of 23, 24, 25 pages, and then also follow potential members.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Carson. Yeah, especially building your club's brand, it can be a difficult thing to do, but very important, and can help get a lot of members that way. And like you said, highlighting members and making sure they really feel a part of everything going on at the club, super important. So I love that. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, so goal setting, super important. That was the whole gist of everything. Okay, going into the next thing, which is leading club meetings. So some things to keep in mind as you start to do this. I have 4 things here. If any of you guys want to add more, because I know some of you have served previously as president or vice president, please feel free to jump in. But one thing is be consistent. So think about when your club meetings are being held. Is it different each month and nobody knows when the heck your club meetings are? Or is it, oh, I know it's every other Wednesday. That's when our meetings are. Like, you know when the meetings are and they're consistent. How you're notifying members. So, you know, is there an email amount? If my meetings are on Wednesday, I always get an email announcement on Monday notifying me, oh, don't forget that we have our club meeting on Wednesday. So be consistent in that communication with your club members. And also like how you sort of structure, run your meetings. So it's nice to kind of like go in knowing, oh, we're gonna, you know, start with a little icebreaker, get to know each other, then we're gonna go into service. I know what to expect when it comes to a meeting, and I'm super excited to come to a meeting because, oh, I know we're gonna do something fun. So have a meeting agenda and have that be consistent in the structure and organization and how you run your meetings. The other thing is delegate to your board. So that's super, super important. Make sure it's not on you to run every single aspect of the meeting. You have a board for a reason. So they can help run sort of different parts of the meeting, and giving them sort of a leadership or an engaged role in the meetings will make it more likely that your officer board will attend the meetings. So that's super important. And also just having the officer meetings before the general meetings. And we'll talk next about having those board or officer meetings. But make sure that everybody going into the general meeting knows what they're doing, so that you have a successful, smooth club meeting. And then engage your members, service leadership fellowship. You can have it all in your meetings. You can do in-house service project. Leadership, you can give leadership to your club members too by having them be committee members on a committee, or allowing them to serve as a committee chair for something. I know one thing American University has is President's Fellows, which is pretty cool. And Carson, you can talk about that in a sec if you want to talk more about that. Also, fellowship, you can have icebreakers, you can have like little meals or food together. I know at GW sometimes we'd have donuts show up, which was always a little bit of a fun thing to look forward to, and just chat and eat donuts for a little bit before we get into the real meeting. And then the last thing is to get feedback. So, you know, you don't really know how your club meetings are going or if your members are enjoying it until you ask them. So, you know, you conduct a survey through a Google form, or you can hold discussions. You know, you can have one club meeting, at the end of the club meeting be like, how are you guys feeling about how club meetings are going so far? So yeah, does anybody have anything else they want to add as far as leading successful club meetings? Awesome, moving right along then. So leading board meetings, a lot of the same thing with, you know, the club meetings. Make sure that it's consistent. So, you know, maybe it's the same time every month. Maybe it's always, you know, the Sunday before we have a club meeting, we're going to have an officer meeting. And then things to cover in your board meetings. So you can check in with each of your individual officers. Maybe they have like a board report, and or maybe it's not even a formal thing. Maybe you just ask them to prepare a little paragraph on what they've been working on, and present that at the board meeting. They can also be used for like planning big events. If you have a big service project or service event coming up, planning for the club meetings, right? So like I was saying, if it's before every club meeting, just making sure you're all in the same page before going into that club meeting. It could be a goals check-in. So maybe you just have a board meeting dedicated to, okay, let's see how we're doing with our goals and revise these if need be, or how can we work harder to get towards them. The other thing is to take minutes. So make sure, especially, I think during all club meetings, you're technically supposed to. I know sometimes that's not always the case, but especially during board meetings, making sure that the secretary or whoever's there, somebody's delegated to take those minutes. Because if officers aren't able to show up, you can keep everybody in the loop with, you know, a recorded documentation of what you guys were covering during that meeting. And then you can also have as a reference point to like go back to later on, like, oh, what did we talk about last meeting, or what did we decide on again for that service project? You have a reference point for that. And again, you can always get feedback from your board officers, board members. You know, do you guys think these board meetings are productive? What do we think we can do to make them more productive? So check in with them on that. Okay. Going into the next thing. So you represent your club. So the other thing is just making sure that you are going into like communication, which is our next thing. Making sure that you're in communication with all the people you need to be to make your club successful. So realizing that you do that and putting your best foot forward is super important, and realizing that, you know, you have kind of your hands in everything. So be prepared to have the right contacts. So key communications that you'll need as a president are with your university. So make sure, of course, that your club is meeting all the requirements of the specific of your university that need be. That varies from university to university. I know some make, I think their club president or some of their club officers like attend a session at the beginning of the year, and if you don't attend that session, you can't be a club, things like that. Make sure that you are communicating with your faculty advisor, whoever may be, that your club is set up as far as the university is concerned. The other thing that's important with your university is you can get funding or advice from them on how to best sort of navigate through the school system to make sure your club has everything it needs. And yeah, it can even get funding for some service projects or events, that type of thing. Super important. You can also partner with other student orgs, which is a lot of fun, and you can potentially bring, that's a potential for recruitment right there. You can bring other people from other clubs into yours by holding events with them. The other thing is Kiwanis. So most of you guys should have a sponsoring Kiwanis club that's there to help you out, which if you don't know is our parent organization of adults who do service like we do. So make sure that, so they have knowledge, that you build a relationship for them, attend their club meetings, that type of thing, because they have knowledge of your club's trends over the past couple years in the history. So if you need help with that sort of thing, they're there to provide mentorship, also opportunities for service projects and things that you guys can do together if you have a slow month or that type of thing. And then you can also get potentially funding and scholarships from them if you build a good enough relationship. And if you don't know who your Kiwanis club is, or you don't have that contact information, ask your predecessor, or you can ask the district board and we'll help you out. And then the last key communication is with the district board. So we will keep in contact. You guys are our primary contact as club presidents and vice presidents for getting out information on opportunities on conventions and trainings and service and scholarships and awards and advice, so much things. So make sure that you stay in communication with the district board so that you can relay all these things to your club. And of course, we have updates on international opportunities and initiatives to inform you guys of. Okay, before heading into general district responsibilities, do any of you guys have questions on the club responsibilities? Okay. Then we will go into district responsibilities. So one thing, if you guys aren't aware, previous presidents and potentially vice presidents too will know this, but we have something called the district council for the capital district. And the district council is made up of the district board members, so the district board of officers and district committee chairs, and then also the club presidents. And sort of what it means to be a part of this council is that by attending like meetings and showing up as part of the district council, you are representing your club's interests on a district level. So, you know, we don't know what type of problems your club is having until you let us know, and we can create resources and events to help you guys. But we need to know what your club is going through. So definitely making sure that you show up to meetings and that type of thing is super important. And you can also gain insights to bring back to your club on important things. So during meetings and that type of thing with the district council, we have time for presidents to sort of like chat or express any issues or ask of other presidents advice for things and challenges that they're going through. And, you know, presidents who are, you know, your counterparts in other clubs may have a different perspective and be able to help you out. So that's super, super important and awesome about being part of the council. So district council meetings, or DCMs, happen usually once a month. This year I did it sending out a when to meet to see when the best dates were for everybody and then scheduled the meeting. You know, the next governor coming in may do it a little bit differently, but they do happen once a month, so you can expect to have that on your plate as a monthly responsibility. And what we do during the meetings, kind of like I said, you can express issues if you have any within your club and get advice from other presidents and officers that are there. It's primarily for club presidents to attend, but other officers can attend as well. So definitely invite your officer board if you want them to show up for that meeting. They're more than welcome. And you just also get updates on opportunities from the district and international. So if we have a big event coming up like fall membership rally or decon, we'll kind of walk you through, oh, here's the awards application and the process for that, or make sure you register for this event. It's just a reminder. Usually our international trustee shows up, so they're able to speak to sort of the stuff going on at the international level, and you can ask questions of them. So it's your sort of time to communicate the needs of your club and also to hear about what you can bring back to your club from the district and international. Another thing to keep in mind as president is the international service initiatives that Circle K has as an organization. So things to keep in mind to work towards achieving in your club, since service is our first tenet and our primary thing we're doing in this club. So WASH, if you guys haven't heard of it, it's a UNICEF USA project, and it focuses on providing clean water, sanitation and hygiene to people all over the world who may not have access to those things. So International does a lot of things for that as far as fundraising, but also having representatives come and talk to clubs or districts about WASH and the work that they're doing. So that's something that's super interesting. Education is a big piece of it, and a lot of other things. March, they do March Water Madness month, and try to raise as much money as they can, sort of kick off to the end of the service year for WASH. So that's something that's going on right now and you can get involved with. And then the other thing is they just sort of have general broad service initiatives. So when you're working in developing service projects or goals for your club and working towards specific projects, the things that International at least is focusing on is childhood development, environmental justice, food insecurity and homelessness, and then mental health. And you can find information on types of projects to do and also resources for speakers and organizations to work with and that type of thing on the International website. So definitely make sure you use that as a resource. For example, for mental health, recently Circle K International has partnered with Active Minds, which actually also has their own clubs and chapters potentially on campuses, potentially in your campus. And so they can do workshops on mental health for you and you could probably get that for free, that type of thing. So make sure you're really in tune to the opportunities that International provides as far as service. You can get things out of that. The other thing from a district International perspective that you guys should just be aware of, as presidents, obviously this will trickle down into the secretary and treasurer responsibilities, but as president, you guys are, on top of it and making sure it gets done. Is reporting and dues are really, really huge to make sure that your club can be active in district awards and scholarships, international awards and scholarships, conventions and conferences, and have access to the training and resources materials that International and the district provide. So that's sort of the importance in doing those things. So how do you report? So clubs report through monthly report forms by the 5th of every month, and that's done through the Membership Update Center. As presidents of your club, you guys will get access to the Membership Update Center. You just have to make sure that you are on your club's roster and that you guys are all dues paid and all of that, and you should be able to get access. You can talk to your faculty or Kiwanis advisor, or you could also talk to the past president on how to exactly get access. And if you have trouble, if you look on the International website, they have steps so you can get access to that. But the Membership Update Center is just sort of this database that holds all your club information, and you submit your report forms through there, and that gets submitted to International and the district so that we can just see where you're up to. And then it also helps us collect data. So when we have numbers on how many service hours we've achieved as a district, or how many dollars we fundraise, we have accurate numbers if you guys accurately report. And then also based on your reporting, you can also get automatically entered into awards at the district and international level that your club can receive. And that's a super cool thing when your club receives awards. So definitely make sure you guys are reporting accurately. As far as dues can get paid electronically through the Membership Update Center, I believe, and then also through mail, so you can mail it in through a check. The other thing with the dues is that you also make sure you update your membership roster, which is also done on the Membership Update Center. So Membership Update Center, super important. So make sure you update the membership so that everybody receives all the communications that that they need to, and if we can contact you if we need to. And then, yes, as far as when dues are due, this year, obviously with the whole COVID situation, was a little bit weird, but normally the early bird deadline is November 1st, and then the regular deadline is December 1st. So just keep that in your mind as far as doing that. And how the due structure works is there's a flat rate due to international, and that's depending on the size of your school. And then there's a $10 per member fee to the district. And then on top of that, you can charge whatever you want for your club and your club revenue. So dues per member vary from club to club. So that is something to keep in mind. And again, why report or why pay dues is you get access to scholarships and awards, and you can attend district and international events. Any questions on that? I know it's a lot of information, and you guys can go back and watch this presentation again too. Sweet, so now we'll go quickly, briefly into skills for the presidency and things for you guys to keep in mind. So the first thing is, again, that you're representing your club. So, and you're gonna be the main key person to go to, the main leader of your club. So what is a leader to you guys? Like, what do you guys want to, when you guys think of an ideal president or an ideal leader, what do you see?
I think a leader is somebody who's also a good listener. So they get the ideas of other people and then do a good job of communicating those ideas and evaluating those ideas.
Very true. Awesome. And Emily says, organized and clear communication. That's super effective. Gets you excited and motivated. Love that. Yes, empowerment. Anybody else? Awesome. Thank you for those responses. All good things. And yeah, some things that we have in here. So a big part of your role as a president is, like I said, being a leader of your club and managing your board, managing your members, and, you know, being able to delegate and do those types of things. So realize that members and officers are looking to you as the key person. So you're not only setting the example for what a leader looks like, what a president is, you're setting a precedent of what a good member should be. What does it mean to be a good club member? Making sure that, you know, it may not be in the presidency role to show up to, you know, all the service events and that type of thing. But if you can do that or show up to most of them, like, you know, you're showing what it means to be a good club member. You know, making sure that you do things on time and that type of thing, that sets up what a good club officer should be. So keep that in mind as you go through your term. There's no task too small, and you know that you leave an impression on every interaction you have with your members and officers. The other thing is something that I struggle with, and you may struggle with too, is to be organized. So make sure you're super consistent in sending out email and contact. Something that I tried to do was a weekly or bi-weekly email to my my district board this year to make sure that everybody was on the same page and informed about what was going on. You know, sometimes I was a little bit late on getting those communications out, but, you know, have that plan in place. I'm going to send out a bi-weekly email to make sure that my officers are all on the same page, or I'm going to send out a weekly email to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Have a Google Calendar or something of the sort to make sure everybody keeps track of those dates. You can even share that with your members too, so they keep track of when the next service project is, when the next club meeting is. And yeah, like I said, have those agendas, have an outline, let people know what a meeting is going to cover before they even step in. The other thing is having check-ins. So, you know, sometimes you can only get so much out of email communication or text or that type of thing. So one thing you can do is conduct one-on-ones. So you can set up a one-to-one meeting with, you know, every club officer. You can say every other month, I'm going to meet with every single member of my club board, which I know is hard for some of you guys because you guys have a lot of club officers. But So it could be less often, but I'm going to meet with every club officer one-on-one and, you know, see where they're at, see how they're feeling. You can get a lot out of a person when you're talking with them one-on-one. And, you know, it makes them feel valued. It makes them feel like their opinion and their work is valued when you take that time to just spend time with them to talk about what they need to get done and what they're working on. The other thing is, again, hold those officer meetings. Super, super important to make sure everybody's on the same page and working towards the same things. So make sure you have board or officer meetings. And I was brought up, but be empowering. You know, the energy that you exert is going to rub off on your members and your other officers. So if you're excited, ready to go, ready to get some work done, your officers and members will be too. And the last thing is that it's okay to make mistakes. Even though you're sort of the board manager, you're the leader, you're getting things done, like you're not going to be perfect. Sometimes, you know, an event might not work out or something virtual goes wrong with technology. And, you know, that's okay. You learn from those mistakes and you move on. And making sure your board, you know, again, learns from their mistakes and not like focuses on what went wrong, but how we can improve for the future. Super important. And then the other thing we're going to talk about really quickly is club culture. But before we do that, like what do you guys want your club to look like? What is a good club environment to you? Feel free to type or you can unmute and just shout it out. Teamwork. Yeah, super important. Inclusiveness. Yeah, inclusive. Members are excited about service initiatives and freely engage with the board. Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Laid back but engaged and full of opportunity. Yeah, these are all great things. Yeah, making sure that your club feels like it's being part of a team and everybody's a important member. That's all super, super important things. So you guys as the club president sort of set what you want the culture of your club to be. So the first thing is, like you guys were saying, an energy check. Like, what is the vibe that you're giving off at club meetings? If you're super excited, everybody else is going to be excited too. If you're checking in with people, you know, all throughout the club meeting, and really caring about everybody's opinion, it's going to be more inclusive environment because everybody else is going to start caring about other people's opinion and checking in with others if people check in with them. So, you know, the energy and the things that you're putting out, you're also going to receive back. So keep that in mind. Also get members to talk to each other. So, you know, everybody loves service, which is a great thing, but all of us know there's a bunch of service organizations you can join on a college campus. You know, CKI is not the only one. So how are you going to get members to join CKI is because people join people. So making sure you build an inclusive, exciting, and insightful club meetings, service events, those type of things, you know, is going to keep people coming back. And when people are able to, and you give members the opportunity to engage with each other, have fellowship, or, you know, maybe they have a partner for a service event, they're going to keep coming back because they're going to be held accountable by other people. And, you know, when you have those friendships, you're more likely to show up. So make sure you give time for club members to engage with each other. Recruitment is super, super important. So, you know, part of creating a club culture is also constantly bringing people in. And if you want to bring in, you know, a bunch of different people from a bunch of different places and have them all mingling in your awesome club, make sure you know, advertise the club through different means. Club fairs, you can partner with other student organizations. And that can be super, super helpful. The other thing is working with other CKI clubs and see what their culture is like and what they're doing. And if they have like a super upbeat, awesome culture, they have a super inclusive club environment or really great with teamwork, like by partnering with that club, like you can sort of feed off their culture and bring it into your own. And the other thing is like volunteering with different communities, right? So if you want a club culture that's inclusive and interesting and you're constantly getting something out, then you have to, you know, try new things and volunteer in different places and be willing to sort of learn and engage with those communities. Bring in speakers from those communities. When you're talking with those communities leaders on their needs and that type of thing, let your club be part of that conversation. And if you help them sort of be part of the process in planning those events and being involved beyond just the actual active service itself, they're going to be more invested in your club's culture and in the club in general. And then the last thing, and then I'll let you guys go, is that communication. We've been bringing it up a bunch, but communication is key. The 3 points that I'm going to hammer into your heads is be consistent, make sure that you have, you know, that your officers members can expect communication from you once a week, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever it is. Make sure it's just consistent. Be intentional about your communication, right? So like if you're holding a club meeting but like you're only going through a PowerPoint presentation, which is something you could just be sent through an email, you know, that's not effective and that's not awesome. So make sure that you're being intentional in the way that you're communicating. So if you're having a club meeting, it's for a type of discussion that can't happen over email, that type of thing. And then be patient and understanding. You know, you might have a vision in your head about how things are going to go, but they may not always go the way that you think that you're going to go. And you also potentially have to let some of your club officers fail and learn through that failure too. You know, as president, you might feel like you have to be on top of everybody, but at the end of the day, your board is there to help you. And you know, you have other responsibilities too. You're a student, you do other things. You can't constantly be on top of everybody. So letting them grow as leaders too is super important. And like, again, helping them work through that, being patient, being understanding, super, super important. And you know, communication also from the practical sense, so those are just the things to keep in mind, but from a practical sense, here's some things you can do at the club level or the club level for your like general members and things, and then with officers, some strategies that are super, super important. So as far as ways to do it practically from a big stance, Carson brought up social media is super important and really effective, especially nowadays. Everybody's looking at social media, so super helpful. Emails, GroupMe, all good things. With your officers, you can set up texting. You can also set up Slack. Slack is another good resource to do. And like I said, picking up the phone, doing those one-on-ones, or it could be a video conference thing with your members and communicating with them or your club officers is super, super important. So making sure that you're checking in with them sort of on the more individual sense, and then save the general stuff for your members. And those are the ways to do that. Sorry, I kind of rambled on for that last one. And the last thing is to take care of yourself. So yeah, like I said, you are a president, but you can't do everything. You know, at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself first, your mental health, your physical health, your well-being. CKI is something that's meant to be fun. It's something that's meant to be energizing and empowering. And if it's getting to the point where it's not that and you need to take a step back, take that step back. You know, it's a stressful job, but it's super, super rewarding putting in the work and that type of thing. So make sure you ask for help, make sure you delegate. Those will help you stay on track and take care of yourself. And that, you know, you look to get a lot out of your experience, make those friendships, make those connections and networks, and it's going to be awesome. So yeah, that's about it as far as the presentation I had, but good luck to you all. I know you're going to have a great year, even though I will not, unfortunately, be your governor anymore. I'm still here for you guys. And if you ever want to reach out to me, feel free. You guys are going to be great, great presidents. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Of course, of course. And returning presidents or just returning leaders in general, if you have anything to add in the next 3 minutes. If not, that's okay too. Sweet. Okay. Oh, I guess I can stop the recording. I'm bad with technology, guys. Sorry.